Welcome to episode 5 of the Deviating Tangents podcast. My name is Connor.
And I'm Scott.
Please pull out a number 2 pencil and a loose leaf sheet of paper, and let's begin. So, welcome back, anybody who's left. I apologize for last week.
If you made it through Kremit, you made it through the worst of it.
You're a part of us now. And that's life.
Welcome to the field.
Welcome to the field. Thankfully, episode 5 is clown-free.
I mean, his suit is still there, but he's not.
It's not even like a suit. It's like a onesie with the butt flap. Today's episode is going to be a little different.
They all are.
You're right. Today's episode, courtesy of a list I found, we are going to be... So Scott knows nothing about this. I'm going to be sharing with you and with him for his feedback and for you guys to go, really? Like, seriously, that's a thing? The most ridiculous law in every state. So there are plenty of urban legends and fake laws circulating around the internet. However, these are actually documented, weird, or outlandish laws, completely, actually legitimate and on the books. Whether or not they're enforced is a different scenario entirely. But, so, here we go. Starting with, and these are all in alphabetical order, so, starting with Alabama. The city of Mobile may know how to throw down on Mardi Gras, but the use of plastic confetti is strictly prohibited.
All right, I can understand that. They throw a lot of parties, I would assume, and, plastic waste is an issue that's just going to keep getting worse.
That is pretty much that's the subtext of the law. It's like if it's not... anything non-biodegradable is unlawful according to Municode Library.
Makes sense.
So, obviously, let us know if any of these laws stick out to you as particularly weird. I'm trying to go for some audience participation points, not just like the bonus points for, hey, do you know this weird, obscure thing we're talking about? But if you're watching this on YouTube, on the ZGP Studios channel in the playlist specifically for the Deviating Tangents podcast, you can send us direct comments for anything that you wanted to know or think we should look into, and hell, we might do an episode on it. There's also, you can reach us at deviatingtangents@gmail.com is our professional work email for...
Professional and heavy air quotes.
So we could turn this into the strong bad email of podcasts. So if you guys want to write us with questions or topics that might make for an interesting episode or episodes, if we have a lot to say about it, that's another avenue that you can reach us at. I'm just trying to get your guys' feedback on how we do our show.
Or if you just want to send hate mail, because I'm sure a lot of you out there have nothing better to do.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get a separate laptop for the spam links and the porn links that brick my computer.
Yeah. And also for the email.
That. All right, we already did Alabama. So let's move on to Alaska. A person cannot get drunk in a bar and remain on the premise.
All right. That kind of defeats the purpose of a bar, but I guess.
So, I think this one may have been mistyped, because according to Alaska State Legislature, the statute says an intoxicated person may not knowingly enter or camp out where alcohol is sold.
Okay, that does change things quite a bit.
Yes. Apparently in 2012, police in Anchorage, Alaska, started enforcing the law by sending plainclothes officers into bars to identify excessively drunk people and arrest suspects, according to ABC News.
All right, that goes back to not making sense.
Yeah. All right. This is a weird one. Anyone from I almost said Arkansas, and we're not there yet. Anyone from Alaska care to fill us in on that? Is this an enforceable thing? Because usually when you get into like public disorderliness, like
yeah, I can understand being drunk and then going to a bar and you know not wanting to be overserved and all that. That's fine, but
just like every state does that.
But if you're already in the bar and drinking and you know not causing a problem, then what's the point?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't make laws.
This is a long list. I'm sure some of these are going to be kind of weird, and some might just be like duddy.
Yeah.
So, I also read a little bit of this ahead of time to get a feel for some of these. Arizona. No one can feed garbage to a pig without first obtaining a permit.
So, I was expecting this later in some of the more Midwestern states, I guess. I don't know.
You could call Arizona almost Midwestern. It is a very Western state.
Well, I mean, like, I forget what state it is, but I know that you're not allowed to carry, like, an ice cream cone or something in your back pocket. And that sounds insane until you realize why it's a law. So, whatever state that is, if a horse is on your property, that's your horse. It is illegal to entice a horse to follow you onto your property, so then that would then be your horse. If you have an ice cream cone in your back pocket, that horse is going to try and follow you to get the ice cream cone.
Yeah.
That's why it's illegal to
do that.
So I can understand not feeding a pig without a permit.
Yeah.
Or also just, you know, making sure the garbage you're feeding the pig is safe for the pig.
Yeah. Allow me to elucidate. It says, without first obtaining a permit. However, you can swap out the trough for a wastebasket if the swine are raised for your own consumption, according to Arizona State Legislature.
Gotcha. Okay, so that makes sense. So it's a public health safety thing.
Yes.
All right.
Because pigs will eat anything.
Yep.
We do know that. And so if you put garbage in front of them, they'll eat it. And if that goes into the mills and suddenly you're processing that animal, and then it's like, we already have enough plastic in our diet. We don't need more.
Yep.
So speaking of Arkansas, because I jumped the gun a little bit ago, a pinball machine can't give away more than 25 free games to a player who keeps winning.
Huh.
The statute aims to prohibit machines that encourage gambling.
So that's a thing that, yeah. So I happen to like Storage Wars and things like that.
Yeah.
I watched an episode recently where the locker had 3 4-wheelers and a couple of pinball machines. They were not allowed to sell the pinball machines.
Interesting.
Due to gambling concerns.
Yeah. I've always considered pinball's more of a game, though.
Yeah,
you don't win.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no real payout. I mean, like, now, I don't know if there's ever been a arcade that works this way, but there's a possibility, I guess, that maybe some arcades, if you break high score.
I think I've seen pinball machines that give tickets.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never come across one.
Yeah, I like if I'm at an arcade to win enough tickets for a prize, I'm not playing pinball.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure they exist.
Yeah, like for me, arcades are more of that novelty thing anyway.
Yeah, like the prizes you win are shitty prizes anyway. Yeah. The ones that you really want to win, you're going to be spending more money playing the games than you would just buying the prize outright.
Yeah, I'll just sit on a Galaga machine for an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Or play Dance Dance Revolution because I went there with people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to go to an arcade by myself just to play pinball and win a crappy Sonic the Hedgehog plush.
I like the Monster Drop game where it's all about timing.
Yeah.
Because you put me on that for a while and I'll hit the jackpot just about every time.
Yeah. So here's one that I love. Moving on to the state of California, a frog that dies during a frog jumping contest cannot be eaten and must be destroyed as soon as possible. What reason could this possibly be for? I would love to know what you're thinking.
And what is a frog jumping contest? I feel like that's an an important bit of information there.
So the health code likely made its way into the books to protect competitors at the Calaveras County Fair and Frog Jumping Jubilee. Apparently, this is a real thing. A decades-old tradition in the gold mining town of Angels Camp. Tourists and jockeys compete to see how far their frogs can leap. In some states, it's illegal to perform... Nope, I am jumping the gun because that looked like an unrelated article. So, frogs.
All right. Oh God, this. Hey, Kremit, you ever been to California?
I think he's out right now. He's running some errands.
This is probably for the best, yeah.
I heard the door open and close a little while ago, but I'm here and Jess is here, so I think he just...
Yeah.
He's been living under the sink.
It's an odd place
He
for him.
drinks my dish soap.
All right.
I mean, he doesn't smell or anything. It's like...
all right.
I'm just afraid that, like, maybe his slimy exterior is going to start, like, excreting bubbles, and then I'll have a clean house. But
I mean, as clean as you can with Kremit.
yeah, but, like, dish soap's expensive, man.
Yeah.
But no, this just looks to be like an old-timey, just like holdover from like the
Probably,
1800s when we first claimed California, and I think it was like bury a hero, don't eat just because it's not a person. It seems like one of those health code laws.
All right.
Next, we have Colorado State. You have to get a permit to modify the weather. So this one threw me for a loop too.
What?
This makes a lot more sense when you read it. In some states, it is legal to perform activities that create changes in the composition or behavior of the atmosphere. However, not in Colorado without a permit. Weather modification is not only possible, but it's actually a lucrative business. Colorado ski resorts pay private companies to burn silver iodide on their slopes. The material carries into the clouds and stimulates precipitation, which creates a fresh sheet of powder for skiers. Okay. Requiring a permit ensures minimal harm to the land and maximum benefit to the people. You shouldn't be doing it in the first place.
With the context, it makes a little more sense.
Yeah, it's just a control burn permit.
Yeah.
Like, I would not like to be burning metals into our atmosphere anyway.
Yeah,
The ozone layer is thin as it is.
I mean, so it's recovering.
Yes.
I think by 2050, it's set to be, fully back to the way it used to be.
That's if we, keep on the whole,
Yeah.
It got a big shot in the arm last year because everything stopped.
Yeah. Who knew the way to solve climate change was to not pollute the climate? Just
seriously. I saw Captain Planet the other day. Not the show, the guy.
Yeah.
Green-haired blue dude flew by. He said, "The power is yours," and then it started raining on me. Didn't smell like rain.
It may have been yellow.
Yeah. And I'm not a fan of golden showers, so.
You don't say something like that on a public platform.
What?
Just.
Oh my God! I completely forgot that was the thing that happened. Was that today or yesterday?
It was recent. I don't think it was today, but it was recent.
So. All right.
It's one of those things that you don't say, "Oh, I'm not into that," unless you're absolutely into that.
Yeah. Well, it was also unprompted.
Exactly. That's the whole point. You don't say that unless you're into that.
Yeah. We didn't have a show when Trump did the Kefeva tweet.
Jesus.
So this is kind of our Kefeva moment. Apparently, former 45th President Donald Trump said in a press conference recently, this was days ago, maybe even day ago, that he pointed out, he took time out of the discourse to just point out the fact that he does not enjoy certain, sexual pleasures.
Which, I mean, is all well and good. Everyone has their own kinks, whatever, fine. Bullshit. But, like, to be that defensive about it to the point where you'll bring it up unprompted, you don't do that unless, hey, you're actually into that.
That is, like, absolutely, like, an admonition of guilt. So how about that Connecticut state? Junk collectors must be out of luck in this state. That's not what the declaration is. That's the tagline for the state, because it leads into, in Hartford, it is illegal to collect rags, paper, glass, old metal, junk, cinders, or other waste matter in the city without a license, according to Municode.
Now, why would that be? Why can't you collect old cans and bottles? Why can't you clean up litter?
I don't know. I think, collecting is not the same as, like, disposing of.
I mean, still, you got to collect it before you can dispose of it.
Yes, but my guess is that it's an attempt to keep trash down.
I don't know.
Like, it scourges dumpster divers from, like, breaking stuff. And
so that's
you're not supposed to do that anyway, but...
So, I'm not going to do it myself. I don't see a problem with dumpster diving.
I mean...
But, like, there is so much food thrown away by grocery stores every single day for stupid fucking reasons.
The reason for throwing food away is stupid, but the reason why you're not supposed to go dumpster diving is people think of it, so the way that the public perceives it and the way that, like, governments want you to perceive it is, well, at least the way that the cities want you to perceive it, is that it's a health risk. If you jump into a dirty, gross dumpster that has God knows what in it, that's never, like, routinely surgically cleaned, you can't trust whatever food you pull out of there.
And that much I can understand, yeah.
But what it really is it's an attempt to curb homeless people from going through, like, it's keeping people from scavenging.
Which doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's cities and towns trying to make their cities and towns not look poor because there aren't people diving for food scraps.
And you know the way to fix that? Help the fucking homeless people.
Seriously.
Like you've got these places that will install benches with fucking spikes on them to prevent homeless people from sleeping there.
Yeah.
Why not give them a place to live rather than install this new bench that you had to spend money on R&D for?
Yeah. What is it? I was on Imgur the other day. There was a post someone had made. I think this was taken from a tweet that I can't remember who said it. But and I'm not going to be able to quote it properly because I didn't save it and I don't know where it is, so I can't pull it up. But it essentially said that the politicians of today are walking through open doors just to slam them in the faces of the people who walk behind them, because Congress wants to raise Social Security so that old people can be taken care of, but don't. So they want to raise Social Security to meet inflation, but don't want to increase wages to meet inflation because that wouldn't matter.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
They'll help themselves. They won't help anyone else.
Which politicians don't even get Social Security. They don't put into it and they don't take out of it either. It's a completely different system, so why does it matter to them? They play by a completely different set of rules than us.
Yep.
But this is not meant to be a political show. This is just, we're punching up two poor, angry people that have been spurned by their government. We're angry and we lash out at things. Not just us, everybody does it.
We are at least afforded the, I guess, opportunity. We have the First Amendment, and that is fantastic.
Yes.
We can say all these things without, worrying about getting shipped off to prison and whatnot. So, on the one hand, that's great. On the other hand, fuck most politicians.
Seriously. Like, the politicians of today would not enact that as a law.
Yep.
The founding fathers, who were
Yeah.
people with mindsets that wanted people to actually be free, were like, Britain, don't tell us what to do. This is your list of things you want us to do and abide by. Well, here's all this stuff that we want to do, and we want to do it so bad we're going to sign it into law so that we can do it.
Did you know that slavery is still legal?
In some places.
Every places.
No, we're not talking about this.
So the 13th Amendment abolishes slavery, in air quotes, except for the punishment for a crime. Which means...
Oh, offenders will be prostituted.
Basically, yeah. Yeah. So slavery is absolutely illegal if it's for a crime, which means the for-profit prison industry has an endless stream of free labor.
What do they do?
I don't know.
They don't do anything.
They used to make license plates, and then they got really shitty.
You break rocks, and then you have to glue them back together so you can break them again.
I don't know.
That's what the cartoons told me.
Sure.
Delaware. God. Every time we get to a new letter of the alphabet, here's another gripe I have with the government. All right. In Delaware, it's a misdemeanor to sell, barter, or offer the fur of a domestic dog or cat.
Okay. I mean, that...
animal cruelty prevention.
Yeah. But why would you want a cat skin coat anyway?
I don't know. Why would you want to wear, like, a fucking... What are the furs that, like, you see, like, the old portraits of, like, the 50s? Like, minks?
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to wear that? It's a rat. They don't even take, like, the bone... Like, they take the bone out and stuff, but, like, it still has a face.
Yeah.
It's like a bearskin rug, but you wear it around your neck. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's like, if you want a puffy, fluffy thing that you can take with you everywhere, just get a Pomeranian and carry it in your purse.
Yeah.
But, no, it says underneath... It's funny, they pair this with a picture of, Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. Any products made in whole or in part from the hair, say a coat made of 101 Dalmatians, may result in a fine of $2,500 and a ban on owning a dog or cat for 15 years after conviction.
Okay.
According to the state of Delaware.
So that's another thing I have an issue with is when the punishment for a crime is just a fine. That means it's only illegal for poor people.
Yeah.
If you have the money to pay the fine, then that's it, done. You can just do the thing.
Yeah, it's like the cost of business, essentially. Yeah. We've talked about this before, not on the show.
Probably, yeah.
In the state of Florida, I don't remember reading this one. Oh, yes, I do.
Uh-oh.
I haven't read all of the things on this list, but thus far, this is my favorite one. And I'm reading this verbatim, so if anybody has a problem with the words in this, attack Business Insider, not me. In the state of Florida, people who own bars, restaurants, and other places where liquor is sold may be fined up to $1,000 if they participate in or permit any contest of dwarf tossing. Let me read this. Florida outlawed tossing little people in 1989 after the bar activity caught on in southern parts of the state. A Florida state legislature tried to repeal the law in 2011 and was wildly unsuccessful.
Now, I'm not going to say you should just pick up and throw someone whenever you feel like it. On the other hand, if said person says, hey, throw me,
it's kind of their fault.
That just sounds like a fun time now, doesn't it?
Everybody want to play some darts? Oh, we don't have any darts. I'll go. God. Florida man, hard at work.
Yep.
Whole bunch of Florida men. In the state of Georgia, those engaged in llama-related activities such as riding, training, or goofing around at a country fair are responsible for any personal injuries they suffer.
I mean, that makes sense.
With the exception of some may pursue legal action if they were simply watching from an authorized area. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, the Georgia Department of Agriculture law protects llama owners from liability in the event of harm or death, with few exceptions. Because people just see llamas, they're like, oh, it's a cute thing, and then it's like, it's a giant animal that will trample you, and...
Just because it's big and fluffy doesn't mean it's going to act all big and fluffy. It'll kill you.
Most things that are big and... that are big but aren't fluffy want to be big and fluffy. Like,
elephants.
Elephants especially. Also, rhinoceros. Like, not wild ones, obviously. Not wild elephants either. But domesticated, I can't even say domesticated, but in captivity, in zoos and stuff. They have that... Where was it I read this? That they have that same chemical flow release of serotonin that is akin to us seeing a puppy. Elephants and rhinoceros look at us that way. They see a person, they go, oh, puppy. And they love us and think we're cute and that we deserve all the pets and all that.
Now, we could have had domesticated elephants.
Are you going to complain about Lincoln again? So apparently there was... You would know more about this because you're the one that wanted elephants.
I forget which ruler it was, but someone offered Lincoln elephants when he took power, and Lincoln was like, "Thank you, but no." And we could have had, American elephants just roaming around the plains out here, and Lincoln said no.
Apparently, Russia's trying to revive the woolly mammoth.
Yeah, so that's an interesting. The science behind it is fascinating. We're not reviving mammoths. We're essentially turning on the genes of modern day elephants to make them more akin to the mammoths of old.
We're trying to readapt an existing species.
Yeah. So essentially like evolution on steroids or something.
So like a metamorphosis almost.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Check out Kyle Hill's video on it. He goes way more in depth on it.
Yeah. There's always someone that knows more about what we're talking about.
Oh yeah. We are not the authority on anything.
If a topic ever piques your interest and we don't do it justice, literally just search it out, because almost anyone can talk about a topic we discuss better than we can.
Yeah.
Just be careful where you're getting your information from. Preferably scientific background and peer-reviewed study.
Yeah. Don't get your political advice from a guy who sells pillows.
Avoid 4chan.
I mean, 4chan is not all bad. I avoid 4chan, but it's not all bad.
I mean, is it all bad? No, but there's a lot of bad.
That's fair.
And it's all anonymous bad. Okay. Hawaii. Billboards have no place in paradise. They're outlawed in the state with few exceptions, including notices from public offices and signs posted to where goods are sold. And this is part of the Urban Beautification Initiative, which dates back to 1927. I don't remember reading this, but this is weird. When an all-white circle of Hawaii's power wives created the Outdoor Circle Club and lobbied for a ban on outdoor ads.
It seems odd to make that distinction, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially when most of the population of Hawaii would be native islanders.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the white people have to come in and ruin it with their politics.
I mean, just like everything.
I mean, the islands still look beautiful. I'm glad there aren't signs everywhere.
Yeah.
But
ideally, I'd like to see some of that around here, too.
Yeah. Because I'm tired of them taking, plots of trees and digging it all up just to make another fucking storage locker.
I really dislike the billboards that are set way far back on the side of the road to the point where you need to look directly at it if you want to see what it's saying.
Yeah.
And then it says, don't be distracted while driving.
Yeah.
But the billboard itself is the distraction. Why is it? All right.
Yeah. In the state of Idaho. So do you remember a couple episodes ago when we were talking about, maybe that was the last episode? We were talking about Wendigos.
Yeah.
So in the state of Idaho, Cannibalism is strictly prohibited and punishable by up to 14 years in prison. However, the law is allowed under life-threatening conditions and only as an apparent means of as the only apparent means of survival, according to Idaho State Legislature. So, if you are absolutely no other options, going to starve, and the only thing that you could possibly eat to avoid that is human flesh in the state of Idaho, you can do that. Just don't do it at night during a blizzard or you'll turn into a Wendigo. I like these. These are fun.
Yeah.
It's better. I almost like the show better when we put some structure into it. Because we're able to bounce around with thoughts and ideas, but then we have a thing that anchors us to the show.
Having an overarching theme is good, but I like the oh, look shiny.
Yeah. In the state of Illinois, urban legend says it's a crime in Illinois to possess more than $600 worth of salamanders. Why do you think this is?
I'm questioning how many salamanders that is. Like, are we talking $1 per salamander, or
that's 75 plus salamanders according to fair market value?
All right, let's talk about that. So let's do some math here. That's what, 600 divided by 75. So $8 per salamander.
I mean, you could go down to your local creek and find a newt.
Yeah, but like, I don't know if $8 per salamander is a lot or a little. And why do you need 75 salamanders? Why are you prevented from having more than 75 salamanders?
Well,
if you have a mix of different species of salamanders, does that change the number of how many you can have?
So I think you're thinking about this logically the way most people would, but it's in the wording of the law. Because it's illegal to possess more than $600 worth of salamander. And it even says, in reality, it's illegal under an Illinois law to possess any variety of aquatic life that was captured or killed in violation of the Fish and Aquatic Life Code, or whose value exceeds $600, according to the Illinois Great Assembly. So I think it just discouraging poaching of, like, uncommon fauna.
All right, I suppose.
Because it's like if you were to buy a blue-tongued skink from a breeder, those suckers can be like $300 a head.
Yeah.
So it's like if you have like an axolotl, for example, it's like that thing, they're already endangered. They need to be well taken care of. So you don't just want to be buying those from somebody in the back of a van. Yeah,
and apparently they have like really interesting genetics too. Like, you can breed for specific colors, but it's not as easy as you know, just dominant and recessive genes. There's more to it than that.
Yeah, it's like a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a dynamic
something.
I
don't know enough about axolotl genetics.
Yeah, neither do I. Speaking of, it is actually pronounced axolotl. I remember going at just the first or second episode where I remember us talking about them, and I called them alotls because I assumed that I looked it up, and I think it's pronounced Hey everybody, this is Connor in the middle of the editing process again. And I'm glad I didn't try to pronounce this during the episode because I wanted to do it justice. This is what would be known as the Nahuatl language used by the ancient Aztec tribes of Central America, dating as far back as the 7th century. I'm just going to say the ancient Aztec language that was used to define and name these creatures. The X is actually pronounced, so axolotl is actually how you pronounce that. But I did a whole thing on this, and I was going to do like a follow-up to it, and then I forgot, and we never did it, and it's coming back to me now, and it haunts me forever.
Just say the lizard from Minecraft.
Yeah.
It's not a lizard, but the lizard from Minecraft.
The newt. Sure. I mean, it's a water salamander. It's practically, yeah. In the state of Indiana, did I skip one? Nope. In the state of Indiana, stores can't sell refrigerated water or soda.
What? Why?
The law specifies that beer and wine should be stored in the exclusive business... Wait. The law specifies that beer and wine store... That the beer and wine store, the storage of beer and wine, should be in the exclusive business of selling adult beverages, that any water or soda sold needs to be room temperature, according to Find Law. Am I reading this weird? I am dyslexic, but am I reading this weird?
That doesn't make any sense. It's a hot day and it's illegal to sell someone a cold soda? What?
No, because you want them to buy a cold beer.
All right.
Law specifies that. I'm reading this verbatim. Maybe I'm putting the stresses in the weird place. The law specifies that a beer and wine store should be in the exclusive business. Oh. So like a liquor store.
Okay.
A liquor store can't sell soda and water.
Okay, that makes more sense.
In the coolers.
That makes more sense. I do know that in some states, liquor stores are run by the state governments.
Yes, thank you, People's Republic of Maryland. All the ABC liquors. There are other states that are like that, but Maryland was the one I lived in that was like that.
I'm not really a big drinker anymore, but I don't see the point in getting like why is it only a few places can sell alcohol and why is it taxed to hell?
Yeah.
And look at Jack Daniel's. They are like one of the biggest distilleries for bourbon in this
whiskey, bourbon, yeah.
The Jack Daniel's distillery is in a dry county. They cannot sell alcohol.
Yeah. But they can distribute.
Yeah. And if you go there to the distillery itself and go to the gift shop, you can buy bottles there that are filled. You're not buying the alcohol, you're buying the commemorative bottle.
Yep. That just happens to have product in it.
Yeah.
For accuracy's sake.
I just, it's bullshit.
That's like you go on a tour, you pay to go on a tour of the site where they offer tastings, but you're paying for the experience of the tour, not for the alcohol you're consuming. Yeah.
I have been on that tour. I did not do the tasting, but I've been to the distillery.
Yeah.
They would not let me take pictures because apparently flashes will do things to...
Yeah. Light, the slightest bit of light they don't want.
So I don't think it was the light. I think it was a holdover from when flashes actually, sparked.
Oh,
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because you used to have like the actual like the igniter. And
yep.
That's interesting.
So like old timey cameras and things like that.
Look, this is almost like a real variety show now. In the state of Iowa, I have no segue, so back to the left.
I mean, do we ever have segues?
In the state of Iowa, anyone trying to pass off margarine as real butter is guilty of a misdemeanor under food labeling laws in Iowa. Renovated butter must also be labeled as such, according to Iowa state legislature.
What is renovated? It's butter, but you put it in a new kitchen backsplash?
I don't know. I love the idea that someone's going to try to sell you margarine telling it's butter. It's like, they're not even close.
Oh, man.
What is that margarine? Just use butter. Not only is it a country crock, it's what it is. People tell you, is that butter? Yeah, it's a crock. Not only is it a tub of whipped grease, but if you let it sit on the counter long enough, it turns into gasoline.
Yeah. I mean...
Thank you, Jim Gaffigan, for that joke.
I'll still eat it, but like,
so will I.
I'm aware of what it is.
Yeah, and I find in some places it's just easier to spread than butter for the most part. Like if you're gonna put other stuff on your bread, then like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I love butter. I love me some butter, but like I'm not gonna turn down margarine if it's all they have.
We're a couple of fat white guys. Of course we love butter.
Yeah. Butter drenched everything.
You remember Married with Children?
I didn't watch it, but I know what it is.
So Al Bundy's wife, Peg Bundy, has a mother.
I would hope so. She just came into existence one day.
Well, I mean, it's a sitcom, so the characters don't necessarily need to.
Dream of Jeannie.
So Peg's mother is so large that she's just never on camera ever. And she's staying with them for a while, and she gets a job to make ends meet. She's a phone sex operator.
That's funny.
and her name is Butter. And Al and friends have no idea that this number they're calling for several hours a day is Peg's mother. And Al hates the woman because, you know, huge and lives in his house.
Yeah, mother-in-law syndrome.
Yeah. But he and his friends will call out several times a day until one time Al calls from within the house and he can hear her upstairs. And just no, he hangs up, but then his friend Griff comes over and like he fell in love with Butter and wants to marry her. Anyway.
In the state of Kansas. In the state of Kansas, I think this one, I love ones like this because, like, they're predicated on, like, history. In the state of Kansas, there's no place like home to get tipsy. It's illegal to sell liquor by the glass in over 25 counties across Kansas state, which repealed the prohibition a full 15 years after Congress did. A lot of Kansas is still really dry, apparently.
Which doesn't make sense to me. I mean, even if you're not really a drinker, why are you making laws to prevent other people from doing it?
Exactly.
Like, yes, I understand alcohol can be dangerous when used to excess.
Anything in excess is dangerous.
Exactly. So why prevent someone from doing it when it doesn't affect you at all? Like they're sitting at home and they want to drink. Who cares?
Yeah. And it's like, in actuality, too much of anything is actually detrimental to you.
Yes.
Like, I've had this argument with somebody before. They're like, you can't have too much air. It's like, okay,
yes,
try hyperventilating.
Yeah.
See what happens.
And most of the air you breathe isn't air. It's nitrogen. If you
yeah.
just go pure oxygen, you will die.
I mean, like, a higher concentration of oxygen won't kill you. And maybe pure oxygen for a very limited time wouldn't kill you. But at the same time, having highly oxygenated blood is just as bad as having low oxygenated blood. Like, there's a butter zone for a reason. Don't. Welcome to Deviating Tangents, where Scott does that.
But there's no margarine zone.
Yeah. Because it's in a liquid
that would be illegal.
Because it's not labeled as renovated butter. Apparently, to expound upon the Kansas law, in Kansas, individual counties may, by resolution or by petition, prohibit the sale of alcohol in public places where 30% or less of their gross revenue comes from the sale of food, according to Kansas State Legislature and Time Magazine. Interesting. In the state of Kentucky, I'm Mr. Unlucky, and I'm known throughout England and France.
Oh, it is that time of year, isn't it?
It is that time of year. That's a Christmas movie.
Yeah. So I was outside the other day and just staring at the clouds, and I do that. People do that. I'm not weird. Okay. Anyway, I saw a cloud that looked like Zero jumping out of a pumpkin.
That's cute.
Yeah.
But in the state of Kentucky, every legislature, I love this one, every legislator, public officer, and lawyer must take an oath stating they have not fought a duel with deadly weapons.
All right.
When it entered the Kentucky Constitution in 1849, the law was meant to deter men who might aspire to public office from participating in the once rampant Southern tradition. Some evidence suggests that trial by combat might technically be legal on a federal level even today.
Oh, now that opens a whole new line of questioning.
How serious does something need to be? And how important do you have to be able to get your way with trial by combat?
Exactly. Because, like, any random normal person says, oh, hey, I want a trial by combat, you're going to get looked at like you're insane.
And so, here's the other thing. I don't know about American politics, but in like European politics, in a trial by combat, you could have someone represent you. So I don't know. There's a movie from the 70s, I think it came out in 77, called The Duelist. It's actually a really good movie that centers on like colonial era America, or maybe it was either colonial, like Revolutionary War, or Civil War. I think it was Revolutionary War, but in either case, it's called The Duelists. There's a bunch of dueling going on, but it's between the affected individuals. But like if you look at a movie like Rob Roy, that's kind of like a dynamic hybrid where it's two dukes that are fighting over some whatever dispute. Think trading places almost, like I'll bet you $1. And then it's like these two men are going at it for whatever it is they believe in. And then it's like there's someone behind the scenes profiting off of it.
As there always is.
Oh, yeah.
They did that on Game of Thrones, too.
Yeah.
Tywin and Tyrion have similar names that I keep getting mixed up for stupid reasons.
Even though they're very different individuals.
Yeah. So the imp demanded a trial by combat, but because, he's an imp, he had someone fight in his stead for him. And won.
Do you think that Peter Dinklage would be up for a round of dwarf toss in the state of Florida? Southern Florida?
He apparently has a house around here somewhere.
Yeah.
So we can go find it.
In the Finger Lakes area, Skinny Atlas. A lot of celebrities have Skinny Atlas houses.
Mr. Dinklage, if by some random chance you are listening to this, can we throw you, please? I mean, I know the answer is no, but please.
I don't want to hurt the $1 million worth actor.
I will throw my back out doing it.
No, there's a lot of celebrities that have homes, like in central New York, Louisiana. In the state of Louisiana, jambalaya prepared in the traditional manner is not subject to state sanitary code.
Well, that's questionable.
Well, the reason why is actually not that bad. It's just because state sanitary code requires like food be made in a kitchen. It's like if you were to serve this to a group of people. And the reason that this gets a buy is because according to the Louisiana State Legislature, the Creole stir fry, made with rice, meat, and veggies, may be prepared for public consumption in the open using iron pots and wood fires. It still has to comply with like food safety.
Okay, so it's not a fire within a building for a kitchen. It's just like an outdoor
you
kitchen.
You could just do your restaurant can have an outside section where you just make homemade jambalaya.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I like laws like this that are like, no, this is our tradition and it's never hurt anybody, so we can do this however we want.
All right. I can get behind that.
So this one, I have no context for. So if anyone is from the state of Maine, I'd like to know more about this. In Maine, a game of chance called Beano, like bingo, is regulated here. The law says that a person may assist players by playing their cards while they take a bathroom break, according to Maine State Legislature. This allowance does not apply in high-stakes Beano, which apparently is also a thing.
Huh. So, I mean, I've never heard of Beano before, but I've been to like church bingo nights, and I will attest that people take the game very seriously.
I've never been to a bingo hall, but I can imagine how bad it gets.
Yeah, but like if you are messing around at all, like those old ladies will go for your throat.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in general terms, like, only old ladies go to bingo halls. No, go to a bingo hall. There are old ladies there. They will attack you.
Yeah. Because they want that $20 coupon to... Yeah. We may have to make this a two-parter. This is going to be a real long episode.
I mean, you got 50 states there with 50 laws. So.
Yeah. And our bullshittery in between.
Yeah.
There is like 3 minutes of startup I have to cut out, but we're already at 50 minutes. So in the state of Maryland, fortune-telling is illegal.
Good. I mean, I understand, paying someone to tell you what you need to hear sometimes or what you want to hear sometimes, but, like, there's really no scientific basis on fortune. You just making educated guesses.
I know. I'm in that camp of if it doesn't hurt me and it doesn't hurt you and it makes you happy, you should be allowed to do it.
It's to an extent, yes.
Do I think it's a scam? Absolutely. But it's not hurting any, as long as it's not hurting anybody.
As long as it's not hurting anyone, that's one thing. But then you got, like, let's say that someone in your life is missing and you go to a psychic.
Yeah.
That psychic should refer you to the police immediately.
Yes.
Like, oh no, your loved one is going to be returned back to you very soon. No, that is dangerous and stupid.
Yeah, that's like I don't want to draw too much attention to this, but even at the time of editing this episode, the Gabby Petito case is still ongoing. So I didn't want to divulge too much information, but here I was essentially updating Scott on the gist of the story. After it had been deduced that she was murdered, all of these fortune tellers and diviners on TikTok came out, and mediums came out and said, yeah, like, I could feel her energy.
So,
and I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate people that are like, I'm going to tell the story of this deceased young girl and don't actually know anything about
trying
her.
to cash in on a tragedy to hawk your snake oil, yeah?
Yeah, I hate that. But anyone pretending to forecast or foretell the future of another by cards, palm reading, or any other scheme, practice, or device can be found guilty of a misdemeanor and fined up to $500, or even serve jail time, according to Maryland State Legislature.
And that's why you don't want to be a meteorologist in Maryland.
Yeah. That's why you don't want to be a cosmetologist in Maryland. Oh, wait, cosmologist?
Yeah, why are you talking makeup?
Anyway. I've made that joke before. A cousin of mine was going to community college for cosmetology.
Gotcha.
And I had told her, I'm like, congratulations on like good for you knowing what you want to do with your future, and so I hope you get into this thing with cosmology. She's like, what do the stars have to do with my future? I'm like, are they not the same thing? In the state of Massachusetts, whether you're at Gillette Stadium or Fenway Park, you'll never hear just half of the Star-Spangled Banner. You're in it for the whole thing. Singing or playing only part of the national anthem or remixing it as a dance music is punishable by a fine of not more than $100, according to Massachusetts State Legislature.
Okay. That's an odd one to me. Like, I understand the patriotism, I guess, and not wanting to tarnish the national anthem, but again, First Amendment, like, do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Yeah. This next one takes us to the state of Michigan, and this is a more understandable law because it goes back to 1931 when laws were like, you didn't have a camera on you constantly, and like it was kind of hard to enforce things that you couldn't readily see.
Right.
So in Michigan state, a statute on the books since 1931 makes adultery a felony. According to the Michigan State Legislature, breaking this law is punishable by a maximum sentence of 4 years in prison and possibly a $5,000 fine. In 2012, a Portage police sergeant was fired for on-the-job misconduct after allegedly cheating on his wife and furthering a relationship with a local waitress using a city-issued cell phone. The man was neither fined nor imprisoned, suggesting Michigan does not take the law too seriously.
See, now, my issue with that story is actually not the adultery.
It's that a cop got off for breaking the law.
while on the job, yeah. Because, like, adultery is illegal even here.
Yeah.
And this is going to make me sound like an asshole. I disagree. I believe that cheating is wrong, absolutely. However, if a couple decides that, oh, hey, I want to include someone else, they should be allowed to do that.
I think both of them need to come to that decision.
Well, yes. So again, cheating is wrong. You don't just go screw someone else without, consent from your partner. But, like, if that couple has decided that they don't just want to be a couple, they want to include other people,
yeah,
that should be their choice. Sure, whatever. I don't think we should be making laws about people's bedrooms that ultimately only affect them.
Yeah, I think that a law on closed doors practice is a big deal. But I think this is more or less to highlight cheating as like an actual offense, because it's like it's Michigan. So I can kind of understand having it illegal on the books, because that makes, divorces and alimony afterwards easier if you can say, oh, hey, half of this relationship broke the law. So that makes things easier to end. But I disagree with it. You just disagree with the idea in general.
Yeah.
Of like, you just don't like people shaming.
I mean, there is a huge world of sex out there that people barely even scratch the surface of, and you're really only hurting yourself by doing that. And I sound like a creepy weirdo.
Yeah, you are
saying
definitely
any of that.
being a creepy weirdo right now. Minnesota. This one's about Scott.
At least I've never said that. Oh, I hate golden showers.
In the state of Minnesota, any contest in which participants try to capture a greased or oiled pig is illegal.
Okay.
The same laws also prohibit turkey scrambles, according to the Minnesota state legislature.
You can't grease up a pig, can't grease up a turkey. What can you do?
I mean, I guess in Minnesota, we're just not allowed to have fun. We go to church, we pray to Jesus, we have 20 kids, and we die. In Mississippi, in 2010, profanity in public could land a person in jail for up to 30 days.
Which is stupid as all hell.
I mean, it's like you said, freedom of speech, but not freedom of consequences.
Yeah, but like...
Look, I don't like being policed on what I can and can't say as much as the next person, but I will hold my tongue if I stub my toe in a school zone.
To protect kids, sure, whatever, but like, I've seen videos of cops arresting people for this law right after swearing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if it's illegal enough to arrest someone,
necessary.
Why was the
necessary roughness? Is that what you'd call that on the books?
I don't know.
Necessary use of force.
There's a lot of things that need to change in this country.
Necessary use of forceful language.
When I become Fuhrer, there's going to be some changes around here.
That day, all female officers will be required to wear tiny mini skirts. I didn't want anyone to think that we were like pro-Nazi or anything, so I finished that.
That is very much a Full Metal Alchemist reference.
look up Full Metal Alchemist. It's an anime. It's good.
It's very good.
Like very engaging, deep, sad storytelling.
Watch Brotherhood. Brotherhood is better.
It follows the manga more closely.
Yeah.
So if we've already had a few things to say about this law, but let's look at it, because this is a 2010 law. While this law appears to be a direct assault on the First Amendment, it's thought to have been conceived in order to protect the public, kind of like what I said. However, while it's no longer officially illegal for anyone to use vulgar language or obscene language in the presence of 2 or more people, people still can't display obscene stickers, paintings, decals, or emblems in public on motor vehicles or clothing.
Which I still disagree with.
I think that's more... I think speaking obscene things is more absurd, like more obscene than just having a visual.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you can walk down the street going the opposite direction. Like, you can turn a corner going away from this obscene sign or shirt or bumper sticker. But if someone and you won't even see it. So it's not affecting you or anyone else that goes the direction you're going. But if in that exact same spot, if you replace that bumper sticker, that sign, with an angry man screaming all sorts of obscenities and cuss words, now you gotta... Now this is everyone's problem.
Yeah. I don't know. I just... There is a fine line between protecting the public and stepping on people's rights.
Yeah. I think noise pollution is a real thing, while maybe visual pollution, not in the same way.
Yeah, like if someone has a window decal on their car that says "I eat ass," which is a real thing that someone has been pulled over for,
yeah.
Who the fuck cares? Like that's an activity that the guy likes to do. It's just, whatever.
That's just a prude cop.
Yeah.
Try it. You might like it. You cuck. Don't go to Michigan, or you'll be in trouble.
I just like I don't know, man. We should be able to speak our minds without like who's he trying to offend by saying that? He's putting himself out there. You know, maybe he's trying to find someone who wants their ass eaten. You don't know.
He's trying to avoid. He's trying to He's trying to get a rise out of like all the PTA moms. I would never.
You know what? If that's all he's trying to do, I am 100% supportive of that.
But then they're gonna like throw a brick through his window, and they're like, my child.
And that's where it goes too far.
Yeah, but then it's her fault.
Yeah, exactly. But like you can be the most respectful person in the world, and if someone wants to take offense to what you said, they're going to take offense to it.
Yeah, people just want to be angry.
And my issue with that is these people who are taking offense to what's being said, that is your response to it. But like I am in no way responsible to your reaction to something that happened.
Yeah.
That is entirely on you. Why are you making it my problem?
Exactly.
I eat ass.
In the state of Missouri, if a bull or ram over the age of 1 year runs rampant for more than 3 days, any person may castrate the animal without assuming liability for damage. I'm not going near it.
Yeah, no. If it's been running around for 3 days, absolutely not.
Yeah, I ain't going anywhere near that thing. No. It's like, sure, thank you for allowing me the freedom to do so, but get someone else to do it, because I ain't gonna. What good does that serve?
Like now he's just pissed off and has no balls.
Yeah, like he's not gonna be able to procreate, so now there's less future bulls in the world. Mm-hmm. But what does that hurt? Like, what if they were endangered? Would the law still stand? I don't know. 3 town residents must attest in writing that the animal is indeed loose, and its owner must fail to reclaim or confine the beast after notice is given, according to the Missouri State Legislature. On to Montana. Driving animals onto a railroad track with intent to injure the train can result in a fine. Yeah, because throwing Mr. Puddles out onto the tracks is really going to ruin that train's day.
fined for injuring the train, not for the animal cruelty of letting a train hit the animal.
That's what it says, too. Onto a railroad track with intent to injure the train. I could throw myself onto a railroad track with intent to injure the train, but I'm not going to. The train is going to turn me into powder.
Oh, God.
Talk about golden shower. Now we got a crimson one. It's raining me. Hallelujah. This fine can be up to $50,000. Breaking the law can also result in a stay at the state prison not exceeding 5 years and other damages, according to the Montana state legislature. I would hope so. I don't really want this cat anymore. I'm just, oh, look, train tracks.
That's another. Take care of your goddamn animals.
Like, we're in spooky month right now. Spooky month is in full swing.
Yep.
There are a lot of, like, the ASPCA won't allow you to.
Yeah, you cannot adopt a black cat right now.
Yeah, because we know you. You're just gonna post pictures of it in its little witch hat and its little broom, and you're gonna post it on your Instagram and get a bunch of followers, and then as soon as it turns turkey month, that cat's out of your house.
Yeah, and not like back to a loving home or anything, just thrown out on the street.
Like, yep, I don't need this prop anymore. I can just get rid of it.
And that's not. It's a living creature, man. Just
it demands your love and respect, just as much as you do from anybody else. In Nebraska state, no person. Wow, I did not read this far. In Nebraska state, no person who is afflicted with a sexually transmitted disease can marry.
Okay.
While it's nearly impossible to enforce this law,
Yeah.
and no blood test or medical history is required to get a marriage license, this health code could have prevented marital bliss for more than 10,000 Nebraskans who reported cases of chlamydia and gonorrhea to the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services in 2015.
So a lot of these laws...
Make sure your partner is clean.
Well, yeah, you should always do that. So California had a law that was changed relatively recently in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it wasn't the one about the frogs.
No, it was not about the frogs. So it used to be a felony in California to transmit an STD.
Oh, yeah.
They dropped it down to a misdemeanor.
Yep.
And everyone was up in arms over it.
Rightly so.
Until you look into it. So what this law did was... it was a felony to knowingly transmit an STD to your partner. The law is supposed to prevent STDs from being transmitted, right? That would be what you would expect to happen.
It's supposed to prevent malicious transmission.
What the law actually did is stop people from getting tested. So it was a felony to knowingly transmit an STD, but if you're not tested, then it's not knowingly anymore. So they dropped it down to a misdemeanor to encourage people to get tested because that's a public health issue.
Yeah, it's a public health issue. It should still be a felony.
And then no one would get tested.
Yeah, but then if you're still infecting other people, it's going to come back to you.
Not necessarily. Again, people want to have sex with a whole bunch of different people. It's hard to track down who was the smoking gun, so they say.
Screw you, California.
It is a very nuanced law.
It's a horrible. It just make testing free. Healthcare should be free anyway.
Yes.
Like, don't...
The cost of testing was not the issue. It was having a test versus not having a test. If you had a test, boom, you know things now.
Wouldn't you want to... But my problem with this is, wouldn't you want to know if you were carrying something?
Oh, absolutely.
That's why I would never just hook up with some rando. I don't know them. Like, that scares me about the human condition, is that people will just go out there and like, yep, I just met this person 4 seconds ago. We're gonna go do the dirty now. And they know nothing about. They don't even know this person's name. You can call me a prude, but it's like, I need to know things about my partner.
And you know what? That's fine. Everyone's different. I feel that everyone should be tested all of the time, and I think that dropping it down to a misdemeanor was a good thing. I think there should be harsh punishments for knowingly transmitting an STD to your partner. On the other hand, I believe that getting that information out there and getting people the tests they need so they can get the treatment they need is more important than just jailing people.
Well, what is the... I didn't overconflate the issue. I feel resolved in saying that there should still be an actual penalty for this.
Yes.
What is the misdemeanor? Like, how does it translate into, like, actual punishment?
I'm not entirely sure.
Because, like, I'm hoping, like, a hefty fine.
Something
like it doesn't
that.
even have to be jail time. Just, like, kneecap the bitch.
There is some form of punishment, yes.
It just needs to be acceptable amounts of punishment. And when I'm Fuhrer... God.
I don't know. There are a lot of laws like that sound like they're helping, but really they're just causing more problems.
Yeah. Like, we just need laws to mean what they mean. I don't want to remove, like...
That's another thing, and why lawyers are so expensive. Like,
laws don't mean anything.
Yeah. They're words on paper that we've given meaning that we need to pay people to interpret for us because they are so goddamn convoluted and complex for no fucking reason. That's untrue. It's not for no reason. It's so there's no wiggle room. We write laws to be very specific, and it's why it's so difficult because there are so many of them.
But by making an airtight law, by making a law that is completely airtight with no room for wiggle room, you're creating wiggle room.
How so?
So, okay, so like you said with the whole California unknowingly and, you know, like, what is that? Transmitting a sexually transmitted disease to your partner. What it was moved down from felony to misdemeanor to encourage people to get tested.
Yes.
But the people that weren't going to get tested anyway and are now still going to create more problems.
I agree, yes. It is a tricky situation, and I believe that there is no one right answer.
No, because we live in a society with people in positions of power, and everything is all about power balance, but there is no balance.
Yeah.
Nevada.
just moving on.
This upsets me on a level that I just need to step away because we're going to argue in circles about how much I hate the world we live in.
Oh, yeah. It gets worse when you realize that people will just lie about things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So in the state of Nevada, using an X-ray, I'm glad this is a silly one. I need silly right now.
Yep.
In Nevada state, using an X-ray machine to determine a person's shoe size could get you in trouble in this state. A device called a shoe-fitting fluoroscope, also known as a pedoscope, pedoscope, P-E-D-O, pedoscope. I just don't want to, you know...
It means like, foot in Latin.
Yes, but it sounds like a pair of binoculars that highlights people that, you know, it's like it's a protection against predators. It's called the footoscope. It says this right after it. Also known as a pedoscope or footoscope for those of you that don't want to explain to your audience. Could expose the patient to radiation. Someone found using the device Someone found using the device is guilty of a misdemeanor, according to Nevada State Legislature. Well, yes.
I mean, X-rays cause radiation. We know that.
Yeah. Why would
how
a
they
device
work.
exist? We have ways of discovering our shoe size
Yeah.
that don't require...
I mean, technology isn't always the way forward.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't
It
know.
can be sometimes, but like I don't want to be the doctor on the block that's like, hey, you know those weird metal scales that you put your feet in and it tells you exactly what your shoe size is, how long your foot is from heel to the point of your big toe, and how wide your shoes are, so we can find the fit for you.
Let's get rid of that and
Screw
just
all
shoot
that.
you with
I'm
X-rays.
I'm gonna take a picture of your foot. God. In New Hampshire, it's illegal to carry away or collect seaweed at night.
Why at night?
Though this New Hampshire law might seem strange, marine plants and algae are routinely used to make fertilizer and animal feed, which gives it value. That does not explain why it's at night. That it ends there. Like, I get it,
Like, is it to prevent people from stealing it or some shit?
but then why would it be at night? It should, if it's valuable, then it shouldn't be taken from the beach night or day.
Yeah.
So why does making it at night, I guess if it's daytime, there are more people to be able to stop you
Yeah.
versus sneaking onto the beach at night and stealing seaweed, which is a ridiculous thing to do
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's seaweed. It grows like a weed, doesn't it?
Yeah, you could call it the weed of the sea. In fact,
Stupid.
there are some people that call it that.
Swimming in it is terrible, though.
In New Jersey, oh yeah, it's bad.
Is it just
Like, it's
you
like...
can't see anything down there, and
and
then
it's,
something touches you.
It tickles all over. It's like,
Yeah.
this isn't water. There's something
Yeah.
in my water. In the state of New Jersey, a person wearing a bulletproof vest while carrying out a grave criminal act can be charged separately for suiting up. The practical effect is more jail and fines.
All right. That kind of makes sense. It makes whatever you're doing premeditated.
Yeah, if you gear up for the crime, you serve
Yeah.
more time.
Now, what if like you just know the world is a dangerous place, and that's just part of your everyday carry?
Well, if your everyday carry includes a bulletproof vest, you're legally safe as long as
Maybe
you're
you
not.
should move.
As long as that's one way to look at it. My belief system is that you would be legally exonerated, provided you weren't causing trouble.
You would hope so, but I don't know.
Is that a bulletproof vest? What do you wear a bulletproof vest for? I live in Philly, man. Sorry to everybody that lives in Philly. That
We
That
so
lives-
rich we can't even afford a fourth wall.
everybody that lives in Philly that lives in a nice area or a safe enough area to be able to say, hey, Philly doesn't suck. And it doesn't suck. It's a beautiful area. At least the part of it, Philly I visited. Twice. Visited it twice.
No, I want a cheesesteak.
So do I. Thanks, me. New Mexico. For many years, idiots could not vote in most elections. The word was historically used to describe someone that was mentally disabled or with an IQ of below 30. In 2016, the Supreme Court scrapped the archaic law from its books, effectively dismantling this ridiculous law in accordance to the Santa Fe New Mexican.
I have mixed feelings on this.
Because there were a lot of people, there were a lot of quote idiots in New Mexico.
On the one hand, we should have voting laws that encourage everyone to vote, because it is a very important thing for everyone to do, as shown recently. On the other hand, 30 is really low for an IQ.
Yeah, like I don't know if you can function with an IQ that low. Like that's like displaying some severe inability.
Yeah. Like I don't. We shouldn't be making people pass aptitude tests before they can vote. but at the same time,
there has to be some kind of test that you need to put somebody through. First of all, to be able to drive a car.
Yeah.
And just translate that to just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a common courtesy test. Not even that. Like a general intelligence, common sense test.
Even if the test isn't used for anything, like pass or fail doesn't matter, it has no bearing on your ability to vote. I still think that
when the police pull you over, it says on your license, he's an idiot. Shit. This requires like 3 more sheets of paper.
I don't know. There are some things that people need to be informed on, and I think voting is one of those. You should be informed before you do it.
Exactly. Which is why I like that if you can pass a common sense test to be able to vote, and then you do something really stupid with your vote, now it's like it's almost premeditated sabotage.
I don't think we should be throwing away votes just because. Hey,
I'm not saying that, but it's like if an outcome happens a particular way, but everyone who passed that, that test, I had a name for it, common sense test. A lot of things go out the window when you record a show. I forget things I'm saying all the time.
Yeah, that's why we do the show.
Yeah. If you pass the common sense test, but then like the results are skewed in a direction that is not commonsensical, I don't know. I'm not thinking of a good way you could implement that.
I'd even be against that. Like,
I mean, I'm not saying I'd go through with it. I'm just saying if there were.
Give them the information, but then that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Like don't track them after
that. But information is subjective in this day and age. You just have to decide which celebrity you like the most, and then their word is gospel to you.
And I really hate that. But that's an entirely different story.
Yeah.
Voting is important. Go vote. Don't be an idiot.
At least try not to be an idiot. I'm going to wrap up this part because we're actually like right at halfway.
Oh, good. Okay.
And we can just like throw in some bullshit in the next episode too.
Yeah.
So I'm ending off part 1 of the Crazy Laws saga. Saga is more than 2 parts, but I'm ending off part 1 of the Crazy Laws podcast with New York State. So, Scott, did you know the Empire State bans being masked or in any manner disguised in public with other people dressed in the same getup?
What?
I'll say that again. The Empire State of New York bans being masked or in any manner, all of that in quotes, disguised in public with other people dressed in the same getup. This has nothing to do with now.
Okay, so I
understand. This is not like medical mask.
I understand where it's coming from. It's an anti-gang law.
Yes.
But like with that law on the books in our current climate, that bans like work at or after work baseball teams.
Yeah.
And things of the sort.
Well, it says disguised.
You're disguised as someone who's good at playing baseball.
But if it's tracked back to like a company team, that company can be identified and be like, oh, who were the players on your team? And then they can put your name to your face.
I suppose, but you're still taking a ride down to the station.
I don't know how it... Like you said,
you shouldn't, but technically on the books.
Like you said, there are nuances to this.
Yes.
Being masked or in any manner disguised in public. So I think when I think disguised, I think don't want to be seen or don't want to be recognized.
That's fair.
If you are wearing like a after work baseball team outfit, you're not hiding. That's just what you happen to be wearing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
but let's see. Let's elucidate a little bit. The law has withstood legal challenges since 1845 and included exceptions for parties, according to the New York Times and Find Law. The law has obviously been partly overturned as a result of the coronavirus pandemic and encouragement,
all right, there you go.
and encouragement from health and legislative officials to wear masks and face coverings in public, especially in like the New York City area, which is the picture that is described here. It's like, I wouldn't be caught dead in NYC without a mask, with how people are still walking shoulder to shoulder.
Oh yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to New York City. Like even after this is all done, I
never had a desire to go.
Yeah.
I think it's because I've lived so close. I don't live in I don't live in Montana. And I'm like, New York City is the place everybody goes to be famous, even though you're closer to California.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I saw a movie that was about, and it was about New York, and I wanted to go. But I'm going to have to put a pin in this, because we are at an hour 30.
All right, that's a decent enough.
We gotta. I like this. I'm gonna have to find some more lists of interesting shit we can talk about.
Yeah, but I do like the random bouncy though.
Yeah,
that's always good.
Yeah.
Give us some feedback and what do you like more, the more structured or the more Kremit?
Hey guys, I'm home.
Oh God,
Kremit. No, we gotta get. This has been the Deviating Tangent Podcast. We'll see you back next week for episode 6. Everybody, bye. I don't know why I look at the door as though Kremit was staring at me.
Why do we keep looking at him?